Just at 11 o'clock, enjoying the outdoors, but on high alert tonight, while police and parents are concerned.
Plus, babies are sometimes born in the strangest places. Details coming up.
The following WKYC Channel 3 high-definition broadcast is brought to you by Time Warner Cable, the easiest solution to experience high definition. WKYC Channel 3 News starts now.
Developing news tonight, a driver fleeing from an undercover prostitution sting ends up smashing into two telephone poles.
It happened a short time ago in Slavic Village. Police say the driver of the red car tried to sell or get drugs from the undercover officer posing as a prostitute along Fleet Avenue. The driver then tried to flee but crashed a short distance away along East 71st Street. Good evening, I'm Ramona Robinson.
And I'm Tim White. Thank you for joining us.
Tonight, a Parma neighborhood is on high alert after several reports of a man approaching young girls.
It is a reminder to all of us to keep a special eye on our children as we start spending more time outside. Vic Gideon joins us now with a story of child enticement. Vic?
Well, Tim and Ramona, the weather's getting warmer and kids are staying outside more, which is why everyone should pay extra attention to the neighborhood children. A lesson some parents in Parma are learning through experience.
Let's go.
Wow.
Kids playing outside on a street teeming with youngsters.
Really haven't heard anything like this happen too many times in this area, so it's a little shocking.
It's shocking after a 12-year-old Parkview Elementary School girl reported a man asked her to get into his car on her way to school.
To have it happen on your own street is very alarming. A few streets over doesn't sound so bad. Now it's on your own street. Then it changes the whole picture.
The whole picture was changed in a neighborhood where everyone seems to be out pushing strollers or walking dogs or riding bikes. The calm's shaken a bit with a letter from the school warning about the situation.
Well, it's kind of appalling. I mean, we've had this happen, this is the third time in the last week.
Neighbors say similar incidents happen around the high school and also near Thoreau Park School, incidents which now have everyone paying a little more attention.
A little more cautious, maybe looking out their windows a little bit more, just more aware of their surroundings, and I'm sure everybody will talk to their kids.
Got to keep a close watch and hope that they catch the evildoers.
They can chuckle nervously at the situation for now, but everyone will breathe a sigh of relief when the man is caught. Vic Gideon, Channel 3 News.
And what about the man that police are looking for? He is in his 40s or older, Caucasian, black and gray hair, stubble on his face, driving a silver four-door with a sunroof.
Well, did you see it? Look at what hovered over Lake Erie from Avon Lake all the way downtown. Channel 3's Kristen Anderson shows us more of the eerie sight.
From Chopper 3, it looked like the sky fell on Lakewood. It was so thick, imaginations were running wild.
It was really like a blanket of white, and it looked like a bunch of monsters just ate off a bunch of buildings.
Robert, like many others coming home from school, couldn't figure out if all of this really was fog.
I thought it was out on the water, and there was a barge moving a big building.
It just looked like the tops of the buildings were like floating like on top of the fog, and you couldn't really see like that it wasn't on the water. It was just all fog, and it was really cool.
It appeared early in the morning over the lake. By afternoon, it started consuming land.
It was just vast. It was all from downtown all the way out toward Lakewood, and it was beautiful, though. It just was fog. We're pretty used to it around here.
But not quite like this. By evening, the temperature dropped. The fog disappeared enough to see the skyline, and the sun came out, just in time to set for the evening. In Lakewood, Kristen Anderson, Channel 3 News.
Was a little spooky. Thank you, Kristen. So what caused all of the fog?
Listen, we got the guy who knows. Here's meteorologist Mark Nolan.
And nothing about the fog that's up here on a regular basis either. Yeah, what happened was, pretty basically, it is plenty cold Lake Erie. We've had warmer than average temperatures inland, and the lake water right now is running at about 47 degrees. And we had a wind out of the south this morning at about 6 miles per hour. A warm wind. Temperatures are running in the low 60s. That warm air clashes with the cold air. The warm air cools and condenses and you get fog. And that's what we dealt with earlier this morning. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of that redevelop as we go into tomorrow morning, because the warm air is still around and the lake is still plenty cold. But the good news is we have a banner weekend in store for you weather-wise. All the details coming up in your Channel 3 Weather Plus forecast. Back over to you.
Thanks, Mark. We're learning much more about the man who police say caused a fatal accident last night. It happened on East 105th in Chester. Officers had just stopped chasing a silver van when it crashed into a Jeep, killing the driver. The man suspected of causing this crash, Lawrence Ray, did the same thing just over 8 years ago. Back then, Ray ran a red light and smashed into a car, killing a 5-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 7.5 years in prison.
He's currently confined in a hospital with an injury as a result of the crash.
Ray will now face a grand jury. The victim, John Rankin, lived alone in Cleveland Heights.
The man who police say attempted to rob a local pharmacy is behind bars tonight. We showed you the surveillance video last night. Parma police say 26-year-old Dale Edmondson of Stowe tried to rob a CVS on Brook Park Road. A very brave cashier there challenged him to show the gun that he said he had. Well, he didn't have a gun, so he just fled. Thanks to tips, he was caught. Edmondson is charged with robbery and attempted robbery.
A man wanted for a shooting at a Cleveland police detective 7 times has declared a special fugitive this week. The U.S. Marshal has taken the extra step of adding the name of Jamal Walker to our wanted list. Walker has stayed a step ahead of the violent fugitive task force since Wednesday morning when the officer was ambushed. Now, should you call our fugitive hotline at 1-866-4-WANTED, if you have any information, Walker is considered armed and dangerous and could be wearing a bulletproof vest.
The man once called the prime suspect in a high-profile kidnapping and murder case in Cleveland.